All right, for this next tissue release, we're targeting the piriformis muscle, which is a big hip muscle. It's actually a lateral rotator. So anytime you're into this type of motion with your hip and leg, it is that piriformis muscle performing the action. So for you at home that have trouble bringing this hip and leg up to tie your shoe maybe, or just sitting and trying to stretch into that area, this is a good place to start to release some of that tissue tension. Remember what lays underneath the piriformis though. Guess what? It's your sciatic nerve. So if you feel a little burning, a little pinching, a little discomfort, and it feels nerve-like, back off, because it's likely a little bit too restricted to go directly there. This is a very direct release. We might want to actually start on the other side and do some other things first. So to get started, you're going to place your ball right under your piriformis, and just to find that, just think about placing it in the midpoint of the buttock, which is fine because this is really a wide tool, 4 to 8 inches, depending on how full it is. And once you have it placed there, you're just gonna gently move your hips around side to side to find any tissue that's tender, really pinpointing any hard or tender spots. Once you've got something, wait there. Don't be in a rush to go to the next spot, but really just sink into that one spot and let time pass, see what changes. While you're doing that at home, you also might want to try to incorporate the opposite leg or even the same leg to add a little more pressure if you feel like it's not quite getting much in there. This is a very deep muscle, so it's underneath those superficial gluteus muscles. So really a very, very deep, dense muscle. So whatever side you have your tool on, use the same leg, and I want you to make that figure 4 motion if you can with your hip. So see if you can cross it over, and if that adds a little more overpressure without forcing and without you bracing and tightening against it, then stay there. If you have to cringe, it's too much. So we'll soften into this and see what releases come up. Remember, you're doing this for 5 minutes or more. And what you do to one side, you should really, really do to the other side. Even them out. You have 2 piriformis muscles. Just like a while back, we did the quadratus lumborum. You have 1 on each side. It'd be great to do both. Once you've incorporated the leg, you can even incorporate an upper arm, right? So you can try and tie in upper and lower extremities. So really kind of opening up through the spine, lengthening through the rib cage, and really kind of teasing out any fascial restrictions that are here. Could even be something as subtle as extending the wrist and just kind of feeling that nice lengthening. But if this takes your attention too much away from what you feel by the piriformis, then don't add on too much. Stay with what you feel, especially if you're in a lot of discomfort, right? You want to soften and breathe. That's the most important focus, is tying in mind, body, and breath. So once you've done this, you've got a good 5 to 10 minutes in. Switch it over to your opposite side and do the same thing. Additionally, while you're getting in those releases, you can do this in a sitting position. So a firm chair would be best. Also, one that doesn't roll too much is safer. And you'll do the same thing. Place it in the midpoint of the buttock as I am here. What you'll do is just kind of test the waters and find anything that feels a little hard or tender. For me, I feel a little bit more tenderness here, and I'll bring this hip up to get a little bit more overpressure, right? So you're at the piriformis, and you're just kind of softening your weight in, relaxing the upper body, and staying here for 5, 10, maybe even 15 minutes if need be. You can also hinge forward to get a deeper stretch as you compress. So I could let my arm soften into my outer leg, my knee here, relaxing my head and neck. Now that I'm combining the stretch and compression, it makes for a more full release of that tissue. Same thing, 5, 10, maybe even 15 minutes. And stay with what you feel. Test the waters. Maybe I can get a little closer to my knee. So I'm just angling my body to the outer knee here that I have bent. And I feel much more of an intense stretch. Don't force it though, especially the men are listening to this. So more isn't better. Soften and stay with what you feel. And then you can ease up and try the other side. Always want to balance things out. So there you have it. You've got 2 different ways to utilize the piriformis release. There is one more though, like I always say, save the best for last. You can do this last one in standing, All you need is an open wall. You place the all ball right at the mid buttock. You're just gonna move around gently to find anything tissue-wise that's hot, hard, or tender. Once you've got that space, you're gonna soften into it for 5 minutes. Make sure that your legs aren't pressed up against the wall. You wanna be on a bit of an angle so you can lean in using your body weight and really kind of hang in there for that 5-minute mark. So go ahead and figure out at home which position feels the best for you in this current moment of this routine that you're in. It might change, and that's good. Hopefully it will get, better and better, and you can do some of these more intense versions of this by adding a leg or leaning forward into the stretch. But for now, meet yourself where you're at and try to stay out of the pain zone and more into that softening release mode, right? Things will be therapeutically tender and what I like to say is a therapeutic pain, but it should not make you cringe or brace against it, because then we're just creating other tissue restrictions and we'll have to self-treat those too. So there you have it. Go find out which setup is best for you and get to it.